All right, guys, welcome back to day 27 of the 42 days of magical practice. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about some simple techniques that you can utilize to increase the sensitivity of your physical body and actually detoxify a little bit and also condense your energy field around your body. And what's the purpose of that?
Again, like any condensation, right?
Like containment again to like...
It's sort of like, what's the word I'm looking for? That's sort of consolidating your energy instead of, we're always thinking about expanding it out, but sometimes we want to consolidate it and bring it closer to us. So, in a way it can sort of raise a different type of sensitivity. It can sort of help us focus, instead of having it pushed way out, our sphere of sensation, our aura, whatever you want to call it, we're always trying to push it out, make it expanded, make it more dense. That's another aspect of it, right? So it's not just this very sort of amorphous field, but it's much more dense. And so part of that is in feeling that also is being able to sort of condense it around your body and sort of consolidate it. And there is at least one, I know of others, but there's one very simple way of doing that on a regular basis.
And before we go into that, when you were talking about that, like consolidating your energy, it made me think of like the burning meditation that we did before. And I've heard you say that with the burning meditation, it's kind of like plugging up all of these energetic leaks. Is there a bridge between, this simple exercise that we're going to talk about for consolidating your energy and that idea of kind of like insulating yourself almost from outside like influence?
Yeah, again, if we go back to the idea of that electrical system where we can either have a bigger wire that, conducts more energy through itself, but there's also the aspect of interference coming from the outside. And in that case, we're increasing the shielding around the wire, right? So, and that shielding deflects stray signals coming in and interfering with the pure signal that's going through. And so I think of that, sort of condensing your field around you as sort of like building up your casing, so to speak, so that there's less of that stray energy coming in and, sort of distracting you while you're doing whatever exercise you're doing. So in a way, we can say that it's helping you focus, helping you concentrate on what you're doing. But is it because there's more flow going through? Or in this case, we can actually help that by condensing the field around us. So basically increasing the casing so that it's reflecting back a lot of this, distracting stuff. So the end result is that you're able to focus or concentrate more effectively.
Right. All right. So what is the practice?
Other people have,
take us through it.
Other people have used this for other reasons, but basically, for us, it's very simple. Like we know that if we start to get one of the common practices, I believe, and I have heard from other people that are in the practice of yoga, right? That when you start to lose your focus or concentration or in meditation or anything like that, they splash cold water on their face. And it's not just to, a wake-up call, because obviously your face comes back to, normal temperature pretty darn quick, right? So, but the idea is that, again, it's sort of that coldness has that contracting factor. So, so for us, we take it just a little bit farther to the extreme and say...
So we always take things to the extreme.
Well, not always, but, it is a tendency.
Yeah.
I'm always pushing for the maximum adventure possible, the maximum result possible.
Yeah.
And efficient,
Maximum benefit.
Exactly. So for me, how could I do that if I don't want to just have a bowl of cold water there to splash on my face before I start my concentration exercise or my focus exercise? I take I'll be in the shower, and at the end of the shower, I'm going to turn the shower to cold. And you can do it by degrees, obviously, if you're not used to it, especially in the Great White North, in the winter, when it's below zero outside, the water from the well gets pretty cold. So when it comes out, it can be quite shocking. So you don't want to do anything that's going to put your heart into your heart's going to race anyway, but you don't want to make it to the point where you're collapsing on the floor, right? And it's not for an extended period of time. We also know from scientific literature now that, dousing yourself in cold for a certain period of time, turns on certain factors, certain parts of your DNA express differently, or things that turn on only when it's shocked by either hypo or hyperthermia. So the opposites would be these extreme cold situations for a certain amount of time, or extreme heat for a certain amount of time. So let's say these, if it was really modern, it would be these hypothermic chambers, right? So these really extremely cold. I haven't done enough research to really know how they can do the extent of cold that we're talking about without getting some kind of damage, but obviously it's very quick. And then, sauna to bring it into the heat territory, which is obviously a little bit longer. And again, another reason to be able to do that for healthful reasons, but also to turn these factors on that help keep us rejuvenated, help us stay youthful longer, turn on immune response, that is far superior than the average person. It really, there are just so many things that they're finding out now to give you energy. You're going to feel after the initial shock is worn off, when you get out of the shower and you're just looking for that towel to get this stuff off of you, basically it's, you have a lot of energy. Believe me, it's going to be so much easier to focus and concentrate on that. It's not like you're in there so long that you're, turning blue and now you're shaking trying to do your exercise. But the idea is that it just sort of consolidates everything around you. And so in that consolidation, it sort of takes the distraction factor away, and you're able to increase your ability to focus and concentrate for a more extended period of time and a much more clean result.
So this is something that you would do if you were going to go in to do a longer meditation as well? Like if you're going to sit for like an hour or something like that? Or,
yeah. Again, the effects, they can be cumulative, because you're training your body to sort of, by association, if I'm doing it and I find that my meditation is better, then when I do it again and my meditation is better, when I do it again and my exercise is better, then I'm going to have that association mentally that sometimes even if I'm in my meditation and I'm starting to waver a bit, I can just think about taking a cold shower, and that will immediately, by association, snap my mental aptitude back to focus. So it's funny how it's like the ringing the bell, Pavlov's dog, right? Even just initiating the thought process of being in a cold shower and what that does, it automatically sort of condenses that field around me. It doesn't happen automatically if you're just thinking, oh, I'll just imagine myself in the shower. No, you have to have the physical experience of doing it a number of times before you can do that. But the idea is the same, so as soon as I bring that online, it's a trigger for me to get back to that, pristine focus. And yeah, so we could do it for any of those concentration exercises, even if they're short term, like you're going to work on your ability to focus on the number or whatever for 5 minutes. I would do that, and you're going to see that 5 minutes you're going to have a much cleaner effect, and it's going to work. Much stronger. You're going to be able to keep your energy up and not get as fatigued as you do that. And those will be your markers that you will, and then write down in your lab book, the effect. You're going to see that over time. And if you check them back and forth, which I would do, I've done plenty of that, like do it from nothing, then do it with the cold shower, back and forth, a few times with the cold shower, then a few times with nothing, and just look at it and see, is there one that's better than the other? And just make that very, objective observation, right? So and then go on those results. I mean, I haven't had anybody yet that hasn't had that effect, but obviously there's degrees, right? Some people will get more of a dramatic effect and less, or as they continue it through time, they get more effect, or it starts to wane a little bit, and then you take a break and then you start it over again. So again, that flexibility with your physical training is exactly the same thing as the mental training. You don't want to, flog the dog. You don't want to beat the horse to death, right? The idea is that if it gets to a certain plateau, I'm breaking the practice and moving into something else. Maybe, I don't do Qigong for a few days and I just lift weights, or I just do something else, or, I play soccer with the kids, or whatever it is, and then I'll go back into the Qigong, and it's like, boom, it boosts it up. I get past that plateau and I'm back on track. So there are a lot of things like that where we need time for our body to acclimate to a certain level, but just staying at that plateau, it's not, that's not really what we want to do. It's okay to be there for a short period of time, but if you're there too long, you're starting to pattern the habit of being just at that place. That's a hypnotic rhythm as well, right? So being in a, sort of in this plateau, mundane, flat line is not my idea of growth. So, even if it's taking a dip intentionally by doing something else for a short period of time, and then, coming back to the practice, and it'll spike up again. So being flexible, again, not being dogmatic about your practice. There's that fine line or maybe it's not a fine line, between being disciplined to do something and not being dogmatic. It's got to be this way, or it's got to be that way. So it's like, look for what gives you the best results and engage it by that. It's always got to be gauged by the best results that you're getting. So that's what I would say with that, as far as the cold shower for, one aspect of the physical in its ability to condense your field to help you to focus.
And is that a practice that you would recommend taking up, like every day?
Yeah, until it's really instilled, and again, maybe the first time you're doing it for 10 seconds, count to 10. Maybe the next time after a few days of that, then you're doing it for 20 seconds, or, double it up until you can get to, I would say what I found to be the most beneficial territory would be, for me, like 2 minutes, to be in there for a good steady 2 minutes. And then, and also having it in my mind that in that 2 minutes, I'm, it's really condensing to the place where I want it to be. And through experience, finding that if I go past that point, at least at this point, if I go past that point, it's more of a detriment than it is, something that's good for me. So there always is that line where you can go too far with any practice. So again, gauge it by the results that you're getting. When you find that sweet spot for yourself, then that's what you want to do.
Nice.
And then the other, right? Skin brushing.
Yeah, right.
So skin brushing is another old practice. Many cultures do it. It's not specifically an Asian practice or whatever. But get a stiff bristle brush. Right? That's hard to say really fast a lot of times. So, a boar's hair brush or something like that, it should be, quite stiff and scratchy, for lack of a better proper term.
Right.
And you want to, first thing in the morning before you get in the shower, it's like rough up your skin pretty well. Usually the practice is starting from the feet or the fingers and always working your whole body to the center. So working it to the heart area. And that would be the last place that you would do. But you want to try to get all the areas of your body. And it should be pretty brisk. It shouldn't be something where it's like you're taking a long time doing it. It's like it's just got to be, you're really roughing it up. You should be kind of pink when you get into the shower. So again, it opens the pores. It helps with, detoxing. It helps with just so many things. Sensitivity level, it goes up. I mean, there are so many advantages to doing it for health and for your practice. So it's simple, it's effective, why not utilize it? I mean, it's just another one of those really simple things that you can do that takes very little time. I mean, really, you could do the whole thing. Once you get used to it, you can do the whole thing in less than 2 minutes. just get through it.
Right.
And that's it, so, and just make it part of your daily practice. That's something that I would probably do. That's something that I do every day, and I would encourage people to do it every day because it just helps. I mean, it's sort of like sauna. I, love sauna, and it's another one of those things, the hyperthermia, right? So, and we know from the studies now that hyperthermia or sauna, 20-minute sauna, dry sauna or steam sauna, not the infrared saunas so much. There's not a lot of research on those yet, far infrared saunas or infrared saunas, that we do know that they help, but we don't know for this aspect as far as, turning on those markers, having the genes express in a different configuration, all of those benefits that they're finding these days and confirming. 20 minutes of sauna. I think the original stat was that people that do 20-minute sauna twice a week have like a 40% less chance of dying of any kind of heart condition or circulatory condition, stroke, than everyone else. That's already a big enough,
right,
benefit. And it increases, those benefits increase the number of times in the week. If it's somebody who's doing, 4 to 6 times a week, I mean, it's like 80% reduction of mortality from any cause. That's huge. I know 20 minutes is a chunk of time, but at the same time, look at the benefits. And if you look at people like Finnish people or people where sauna is part of their heritage, part of their culture, look at their health and look at their skin quality and just all of the their youthfulness and their activity levels at an older age. I mean, they really just look by example, what they're doing, and this is something that's has been part of their culture for a long time. So the benefits are there, and now again they have the tools to measure it scientifically, so it's objective, that we're looking at just what it's turning on, how it's affecting people, and what it's doing. And of course for us, extending our youthfulness, extending our life gives us more opportunity to do our practice and not just engage in our practice, but to be able to get the end results that we're looking for. We have more time to work.
Yeah.
And I think, and more time to enjoy, obviously. You want to be youthful and healthful when you get to that spot, so that you can enjoy what you've created.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those would be the, 2 things that I would say off the bat as far as non-exercise sort of, physical attributes or physical practices that you can do to help engage in these practices in a good way and enhance the outcome.
Right. Boost your results in your experience.
Boost your results. It's all about the results.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy, and we'll see.
Let us know. We'll be listening for the screams early in the morning. And the cold shower especially.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Talk to you guys tomorrow. See ya.